What's up, everybody? This is Skytech Freak, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do like an extreme facelift or makeover of your Switch in terms of like color and change the look of your dock and Joy-Cons, and if you want a D-pad on your Joy-Con, and basically just a complete change or overhaul of at least what we can do about the Switch. So as you can see, this is like my new 2019 extended battery life model of the Switch, and the reason you might want to do something like this is because while the Switch has had some special editions and like a lot of, well, not a lot, but a fair number of Joy-Con colors, I feel like that doesn't change much because even the special editions just have some sort of pattern on the back of the Switch, which isn't really change much of the look. It's just a pattern on the back and it's still black. The Joy-Cons, again, certain colors are there, but then there's some very other nice colors that are just for some reason missing from the entire thing. And the dock especially is something that, well, with the new Animal Crossing one, they've actually changed the color of the dock, but with the other ones also it was similar to the backplate of the Switch, where they would just like embezzle some sort of pattern on top of it and they would call it a day. So as you can see, we're just going to pick out the parts that we're actually going to be working on. So this is the main Switch. We'll be changing the back plate on this, so this is something we will need along with the Joy-Cons. So I'm going to be switching them out for white Joy-Con shells with the D-pad instead of these buttons, because I don't really play the Joy-Cons in single player mode anyway. And then the last thing we really need is the dock. We don't actually need anything else from this, so let's just take the dock out. There you go, you can see the dock, and then everything else from the box isn't something we necessarily need, so we can just put that away for the time being. So I just hit the camera for a second with that and shift it out of the way. Let me show you what the products we're going to be working with are. So I mean, of course, we've got a screen protector because that's something you should put on any new Switch because it is a plastic screen and you do not want scratches on that. But then I was talking about the dock, and this is an Extremerate faceplate for the dock. So basically we're going to switch out this part that says Nintendo Switch with this one, and I think it'll look quite cool, and I will tell you why. Because the rest of the design I have is also basically a white Switch. So this is the white Switch with the D-pad buttons, and it's the base stop version or the bar stop version, and or the Miriam Direct version. Extremerate also has Joy-Cons with the D-pad and a backplate, but I actually want my Switch to have something in the back because the Extremerate one is just plain, but this is like a plastic feel that's more of a soft touch feel. So I mean, it's up to you what you prefer your Switch to look and feel like, but I feel like this might be interesting. For the Joy-Cons, I might use the Extremerate's D-pad version because I feel like that D-pad is better. This D-pad has like lines and it's a little different. The Extremerate one, which I do have over here, as you can see, actually has more of a concave, like movable D-pad, something like what the Xbox One controller has, but it's far more pronounced on the Extremerate D-pad. And I don't actually know how any of these things will feel, so once we actually try it out, we will know. So we can put this away as well. And lastly, there is the portable dock. So as I think if you know about the Nintendo Switch dock, pretty much everything that you really need is housed in this sort of shell. So all you have to do to have a smaller dock, really, instead of buying the third-party docks which have been known to mess up systems in the past, all you need to do is find and buy this casing, and then you can have that part and just put it into this part of the dock, and then this will be your entire Switch dock instead of this large thing. So if you want a portable dock, you can do something like that. But I'm going to be changing the faceplate instead of making it a portable dock. I'm just showing you that this is something else that's available in case you want to do something like a white Switch. So this thing comes in like 3 colors. It comes in like red for the Famicom version, it comes in white, and it comes in black. But everything else comes in many other colors. It comes in atomic purple, which is definitely a favorite. I, on the other hand, never had an atomic purple Game Boy or anything, so I don't have any nostalgia related to that. But I feel like white is a cool color because that's not something Switch offers. And then I have like a silver laptop, this like white mouse. So actually, before we start working with any sharp tools like screwdrivers and all on the Switch, I thought it's probably a better idea to just put on the screen protector. So I'm going to do that now, and then we'll move on to the next steps. All right, guys, here we are about 2.5 hours later, which is basically how long it took me to switch out all the parts for these replacement parts on the Nintendo Switch. You guys will probably have seen the sped up version of me going through the entire process. This wasn't supposed to be a guide on how exactly to replace each part or go about which screws and which connectors to connect when and how. I don't think I'm the best person to do that. There are many videos online, even from Extremerate, which is the company that sells most of these products. They have guides on how to do it step by step. I don't feel like my guide would have been really helpful because I was doing it for the first time too, and I got stuck in many parts. So I also had to like pause and go and look at that video and things like that, which is why it probably took me a little longer. I think you could whack out most of this in about an hour and 40 minutes if you know exactly what you're doing and you aren't exactly getting confused and stuck and things like that. But yeah, just quickly, let's do an overview of everything that I did change out. So I started with the backplate of the Switch. Was by Meridian Direct or Base Stop or Bass Stop. I'm not entirely sure. I think that's just the same retailer under different names. And then I went ahead. That was the only product that I'm using from Base Stop or Meridian Direct. Everything else is basically from Extremerate. So the next thing after the backplate that I installed was the front panel of the dock. So basically, this isn't like a sticker or a skin or something that I've stuck onto the front of the dock. It's literally just the plate that is in front of the dock. So this is the entire plastic. So that was just the front plate that I installed. Both of these things, the back plate and the dock, both of which I thought would be easier, still took me about 25 minutes, probably because I was doing it for the first time. After that, I did the Joy-Cons, which together took me about an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes, because they're super confusing. And like I said, it was the first time I was doing it, so I had to like stop and look up the stuff to do and things like that. Now, most of the guides will also tell you to like open up all the ribbon cables and reinstall, like open up the ribbon cables and then reattach them when you're putting the Joy-Con back together. I was actually able to switch out the entire Joy-Con without even removing one ribbon cable. But I don't actually suggest you do it like that because that's way more time consuming. It's better to just take those things out and then put them back, because then there isn't so much juggling of parts that you have to do it. I think it's a little hard to explain, but basically follow the guides online that know what they're doing better than I do. So I left this part of the Joy-Con in because I know that some people reporting when you replace that, these the ZR and ZL buttons don't feel the same. And also within the Joy-Cons, I left these parts open. There are replacement buttons for this in all the sets that you get, but I didn't actually want to replace it because I felt like there would just be a few extra steps of work and no one's actually looking at the Switch from there. And like I said, I actually think this is going to go really well in my setup because like I have this keyboard, this mouse. I usually have a white, a silverish laptop and a monitor and some speakers, and I think that goes really well with that setup. I also think that one of the other things you can do when I was replacing the dock is that you can also replace it with this portable dock, and this portable dock actually goes in to a lot of the travel cases and things like that. So if you want a portable way to travel with that, you can have this. And the Switch logo on this portable dock, which is comes in white and red, like I said earlier, matches the Switch logo at the back from the Base Stop or Meridian Direct Switch products. So that's just my overview of what the Switch looks like now. I can just go around one more time and give you guys an overview. And the next thing I'm going to do is show you that everything works. One other thing I wanted to mention is that Extremerate, the buttons that they have actually have the letters engraved, versus like the normal Joy-Cons one just have it colored and the letters are written in white. I actually feel like the stock Joy-Con buttons actually feel a little better. These feel a little slick. Same with the D-pad that have been exchanged. They feel a little slicker, but I like the look of this more. I wanted it to be like a stealth black versus white look. And one other thing you can probably see is that there is a little bit of a color shift between the back plate and the Extremerate Joy-Cons. That's probably just because it's different companies that made these two things. Although I did get an entire set with this, including Joy-Cons, and those Joy-Cons were like, I think they were just like misprinted or like a bad lot, and they were like pretty much turning red. It was like a reddish white. So even the Joy-Cons that came with this set didn't match this color of white. However, everything else, like the front of the dock and the Joy-Cons, do match each other because they're from the same company, which is Extremerate's like soft white color. One other thing is I wanted to mention was like I wanted this Switch to also match my Switch Lite. Not that they'll ever be used together, but basically what I did with my Switch Lite is I have replaced the back panel only, mostly because I'm a little scared to go and open up the front part. It involves like a heat gun and a whole lot of like opening up ribbon cables and reattaching them, and it seems pretty complicated. I feel like now that I've done the Joy-Cons, I would be more confident doing something like the Switch Lite. But I also feel like this dual tone finish that I have here, which is like a white back and then a gray front with the white buttons, is something that looks quite cool. So even here, I left in some of these dual tone elements, like the game card is still gray, the game card slot is still gray, and then the buttons are still gray, and then here this part that attaches between the two shoulder buttons is also gray. So I think that's another thing that goes together with this entire setup or this entire look. um, just the last thing I want to show you is that everything is indeed working. So I'm going to just turn it on and show you that yes, this Joy-Con works, this Joy-Con works, the D-pad works great. As you can see, it's much more much easier to get through these things, especially because there's like a pretty pronounced contour, so you can just like glide your hand through those, as opposed to buttons that are harder to like get through than if you're looking for them. One other like customization you can make, and this is probably the easiest part of the video, is when you go into controllers. As you can see here, my right controller showing up as white and my left controller showing up as gray. Now, if you remember from the beginning of the video, I bought like an all gray Joy-Con. You can see parts are still left from that gray Joy-Con. But the point being, I was actually able to change the color that the Switch recognizes Joy-Cons in. And the way to do that is actually pretty simple. I'm going to show you in a minute. But as you can see, this is a process that fully works. So on the right, I've actually switched out the colors to be full white. And you can switch these colors out to be literally anything on the hex code. I'm pretty sure you can just give it a hex range color and it'll just work on that. So the left one is still on its stock color, which is the gray one, and I'm going to show you via the left one how exactly to change the color. What you'll basically need is a Windows laptop with Bluetooth connection and this tool that I'm going to give you the link to download, and that's how you can change the Joy-Con colors. And of course, you don't actually have to replace your Joy-Con shell for your Switch to recognize these Joy-Cons as different colors. Even if you just want gray Joy-Cons or red and blue Joy-Cons or any other Joy-Cons you want, but you want them to register on your Switch as a different color, it's super easy to get that done. So the next thing you want to do is probably just open your laptop and we'll take it from there. So once you've unzipped the file that I will link in the description called Joy-Con tool, JC tool version 5.2.0, basically you want to unzip it and open that folder. Another thing I just want to mention is that this is 5.2.0. That's the latest version of this tool that's available, and that works with version 4.0 firmware of Joy-Con. So these Joy-Cons are currently, at the date of the video, on the latest firmware, and this tool does work with them. I don't know if Nintendo is trying to patch that in the future, but for now, on the latest firmware, which is firmware 4.0 on Joy-Cons, this tool is working. So to just get started, what you want to do is go into settings, go into your Bluetooth settings, and add a Bluetooth device. And to make your Joy-Con discoverable, you just want to hit sync and then hit SR and SL. And as you can see, it's already picking up the signals. So we just want to hit that, and it has already connected. You just want to wait. So it says it's ready to go, and here it says it's setting it up. You probably just want to wait a second till it says Joy-Con is set up. There we go, device ready. And that pretty much happens quick. These lights are not going to stop blinking while you're connected to the Windows until you open up the Joy-Con tool. Make sure you don't have the Joy-Con tool opened before you connect the Joy-Con. So you want to connect the Joy-Con to your Windows computer via Bluetooth first, and then only want to open up the Joy-Con tool. So you hit that, and as you can see, the light stopped blinking. It recognizes it as a Joy-Con, and there you can see this is the color that the Switch currently recognizes the Joy-Con in. Now you can back up the SPI, which is basically if you mess up something, you can always just restore them. I've backed up both my Joy-Cons here. That's what the SPI file looks like, so I don't need to do it. And it does take a while because it has like 512 bytes of data, 512 kilobytes of data, megabytes of data basically, that needs to back up via Bluetooth. I'm not entirely sure what the file size is, but it takes a few minutes because it backs up everything, not just the colors. But now what we want to do is we want to switch the colors, and of course you can have two different colors for two different Joy-Cons. You can also actually change the button color. So this is the body color, and I want the body color to be white. Obviously you can do OK, but if you also want to look at buttons, so you can click on buttons and then you can have like blue buttons and do OK, and it's going to look something like that. I actually don't want that because my buttons are going to be black, but you can really mix and match those colors around. So there are a few presets. It's going to show you these are the ones that are preset available, or the ones that are available most commonly. of course, if you back them up and you ever want to go back, you can just as easily restore your SPI. So again, update, okay, and then what you want to do is write colors. So we're just going to write these colors. It says don't forget to back up. I've already backed it up, and here I am writing these colors, and they said that the colors have already been written. So this writing takes almost no time at all. But lastly, let's just see if this actually works on the Switch. As I had shown you a minute ago, that my right Joy-Con was showing up as white, but my left Joy-Con was not. So we're going to go into controllers, and we're going to slot in this Joy-Con, and it's going to tell us that it has paired. And as you can see, now we have two white Joy-Cons. So basically, this entire Switch now, I believe, has gone over pretty much extreme makeover, complete change of what it originally was, from its boring gray to now this pretty stark white and black look, with a new backplate, new Joy-Con colors, and a new dock over here. So yeah, that's just been the guide. This took me a long time to get through everything, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, give me a like and consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.